Yeah. Here's part 3. Here's the date, time stamp, and the thumbprint, and then the face on the screen, on the record, on the video record. Tuesday, 11:50:05 seconds, year 2023, 7th month, July 11th day. Forward on the record, Captain's log. Russell Everdescu, agent, private military auditor, emerging into the public. Lane number RE 043 731 210 US. That is the registered mail affidavit that's connected to the last paper trail and pen, sworn, certified, and verified Constitution, known as affidavit contract, counterclaim and rebuttal to the assumed legal jurisdiction. So anyway, continuing on with the conversation, getting it on the record, on a public record. Hi, Strike! Strike the cat has joined us. Has joined me, not us. Me. I almost included everyone. I just say for me. She's in the yard over there. I'm gonna go get close up. The cat has entered the yard. This is the calico cat right there. Hi, Strike. She's mostly black, though. Mostly black. She's got white and orange on her, though. White chest, white feet, white on the sides of the muzzle, and then, of course, the spotted orange, the marbly looking orange. She has white on both sides of the muzzle, and I'm pretty sure this is a girl cat. She's not running away. She's actually liking to be around here more. And I told her that she could camp in the yard. I told this cat right here she could camp in the yard. She's the only wild cat that I see around here. And it could be that this could be the neighbor's cat, because yesterday I heard this neighbor over here, the new neighbor that just moved in, her name, the name she uses is Havala. I heard her last night, really for the first time, distinguishedly. Although I had heard some other things coming out from somewhere, but I pinpointed that it was her. It seemed to be her, and she was hollering out yesterday evening, kitty, 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 something to that effect. So this cat that keeps coming in the yard over here could be the cat that she cares for. I have yet to confirm that with her yet, though. Anyway, so I told this cat that this particular cat, for some reason, I like this cat. And the only reason that happened was because I used to work at Natron Wood Products up here, where I got laid off from. And there was a wild cat that I befriended up there. And I was feeding the cat, spending time with the cat. And it was also a calico cat. When I got laid off over there, the day that I got laid off, this cat showed up in the yard. Another calico cat was put in place to the one that I can no longer see anymore, because I was laid off over there. Unless I was to go talk to Rick, the owner, and ask if I could go visit the cat, or let him know that I would like to visit the cat. I wouldn't ask him, I would let him know. I would put forth a statement. I would like to visit the cat that I was, and then see what he had in response to that. So, anyway, so here, this is Stray Cat, so there she goes. That's her favorite hole. She keeps going under the fence over there to the neighbor's yard. Hey, Strike. I'm striking it. Now she realized I was getting a little closer. I kept inching toward her. Now she's over the neighbor's yard. So now continuing on with the record. So anyway, I was being very careful what I was going to say to him, realizing that in his legal mind, he was looking for a loophole out of the contract. And it wasn't him. It's the surveillors on the bad side that electronically have demon possessed him. Robot controlled him. And the soul inside him probably is not very conscious to what's going on. It has been the experience that I have, an observation in interrelationships with very many different other living organisms around me, whether it be human, animal, geological, like rocks, bird, or rocks, trees, dirt, but more so with the more predominantly actionate and verbaged would be the humans and the animals. Predominantly, for the most part, I'm keyed in and been trained and training more and more to realize that most of the humans and the animals the soul has been stamped out quite a bit, which starts right out here at the hospitals. Which gets me back to the connection between the hospitals and the question that this brother asked me, Spenser, the IRS agent, on the phone call that I had with him late morning here, around an hour ago. It was probably 30 minutes I was on the phone with him. So, So anyway, I'm being very careful in giving him some type of pacifying answer. I'm just looking to pacify him. Just like when I send money to Lane County down here to the tax collector, I ain't paying him. I'm pacifying him. I'm not a taxpayer. Although I could tell them I'm a taxpayer and there's still no legal contract. But for the most part, I'm dealing with a taxpayer or, a lot of humans. Most humans that I deal with, that I interact with. Most of the humans I interact with don't know that I have private contracts in place. They haven't seen them, they haven't read them. And most humans that I interact with don't have full comprehension of what's going on in the whole system, the whole spectrum, the whole system's spectrum, the full gamut, what's going on. And usually these people are just doing what they're told to do. And that's all. But yet some of them might know a little here, a little here, a little there, a little more here and there, a little more here and there, and some of them might know a lot. But it's been my experience that, that most know very little. But I'm dealing with an IRS, I'm interacting with an IRS agent over the phone here. This is federal level. And federal agents, legal federal agents, are trained much more different than state agents. Not only am I dealing with a federal agent, I am dealing with the IRS agent, which is just another name for the Treasury. So I'm at the top. The Treasury is the top as far as accessing all the resources according to the affidavit contract that I wrote up, which this agent is subject to. He's under jurisdiction to the contract through agreement, through international and universal treaty. Whether he knows it or not, the one that controls him, robot controls him, at the top, they know it, and he knows it. When I say he at the top, the gang leader, and those at the gang leader's table that sit at the table, them. So him and them. So when I say him, I'm not talking Spenser, the IRS agent that I'm talking to. I'm saying him at the top, the one that's controlling him. That would be the bad bully, the bad mud stuck bully, the bad extraterrestrial, the dark side, like portrayed in the Hollywood movie Star Wars. There's Darth Vader, and then the series and the sequences, that are after Star Wars, the first movie. I watched one of the Hollywood movies where Darth Vader was shown speaking to his boss. And so that would be the picture right there. High-level military or high-level Vatican, military Vatican, because it is the military that runs the Vatican. The Pope does not run the Vatican. The Pope answers to the Black Pope, who is the Jesuit general who overthrew the Vatican White Pope. That would be top military leader. And so Darth Vader in the Hollywood movie would portray the Jesuit general. And then, just like in the Hollywood movies, when I saw one of the sequels to the original Star Wars movie, Darth Vader actually launched up on the screen and out popped what I call the extraterrestrial. That's the correlation. That's why I always bring up the extraterrestrial, because it does seem to me that there is something higher intelligence that shares technology with the Vatican Jesuit general that oversees the whole earth, the military that runs the governments, or the government is another word for the Pope. So this extraterrestrial at the top directly is controlling this IRS agent that I'm speaking with over the phone. And I know it. But the IRS agent doesn't know it. But I know it, and the extraterrestrial knows it. And there's a few sitting at his table, the elite in the military, and some of the privileged in the governments. And there might even be some privileged CEOs, and there could even be some privileged employees. And then I could go so far as to say, underneath that chain would be the animals. There are privileged animals also. And then geologically speaking, under the legal command chain, or chain, they like to call it the chain of, because there's no love, and it is without the peephole, or I should say without me, or it was without me for a long time when I didn't know what was going on. But I helped myself to sit at the table. I helped the self to sit at the table. They didn't invite me. I just walked right in and sat at the table with them. quote unquote, to use a legal word, knowing that that is the right that I hold to advance. I just showed up. And that is what they ultimately respect. And it wasn't that I just showed up. I showed up with power to back it up. That power is in the contract, in the agreement, and the power is also in how I'm able to pick up on when they're using tricks on me or force. When they realize that I can see what they're up to and see it. And when it gets to the point where I see it very clearly, then they realize they ain't dealing with no dummy. And when they realize it over and over and over and over and over, because they're never going to stop sending the tricks. That's just the way the bully is. Until there's enough growth in the bully to where he realizes, well, it's really quite useless to continue trying to trick mother, that I'm going to be able to control mother. And that would be me, the real living man. It eventually is going to get to that point. It's not at that point yet. The little child's still trying to pull stuff over me. But even within me, I have a child too that's growing. So I'm like a mother with a child and a bully child too. Because that's the way I was trained when I was born through this hospital under assumed jurisdiction, and I was taught the bully ways, which I call the bad habit. But I'm not stuck in the bad habit, mud stuck into the bad habit like I used to be. I'm progressing out, which is symbolic to say I'm progressing out from that assumed legal jurisdiction more and more and more and more every day, each and every way. Although I'm not fully out yet. I don't have full honor yet. Otherwise, I would have complete access to that treasury. Complete and full honorable access to the treasury, which is all technology and all resources. I would be able to astral travel. I'd be able to walk through walls publicly in front of everyone's eyes, because that's the goal that I have. I would be able to heal anything I wanted. I would have all cures for everything. In other words, it would be like the Jesus story. Although the Jesus story is just a story. But for all I know, could be someone rocked around the earth 2,000 years ago, went around healing people. Could have happened. I'm not going to say that it didn't happen. Although if I say it didn't happen, I have some backing that more than likely, it could have not happened. From what I know is going on with that Bible story and the Jesus character and all the rest of the characters, that the current interpretation to that Bible is a spin-off to the old ancient Jesus astrology interpretation that's been around a lot longer than the last 2,000 years that Jesus came onto the scene, and a lot longer than 6,000 years according to the new Jesus interpretation that says that the Old Testament was written and all those characters in the Old Testament actually existed. But knowing what I know in the old ancient interpretation to that Bible, that all those stories are just symbolic stories. All those characters are symbolic. And in order for the Vatican to bring its slaves to a new level, a new control level, in other words, to dumb the slaves down more, they came up with a new interpretation to the old ancient astrology Jesus, and they personalized all the characters. And they actually put into place all the geological references, like the names, the names of the countries. Israel, Bethlehem, and all the other names to the countries that are mentioned in the Bible for the time period that that story was told. Cyprus, Rome, all those geological names in the original astrology ancient story were personalized, or they were told in the story that they were real places. And so in today's time, I look around and I don't see Jesus walking around, and I don't see Mary walking around, and I don't see Joseph walking around, I don't see Moses walking around, I don't see King David, King Solomon, and all the characters that are listed. The Apostle Peter, the Apostle Paul, John the Baptist, because according to the story that they died. But what they say is that Bethlehem is still there, and today we still have Bethlehem. Israel's still there. Yes, today we still have Israel. You know, Egypt is still here. Yes, we still have Egypt here today. So, you know. But for the most part, all the character names were personalized. But I'll always like to say, it could be that they weren't, because there are some things still in hiding that I would like to know for sure. I'm just saying, from the evidence that I see so far, it looks like that they never existed at all. And if they did exist, they had Hollywood actors in place to act it out, to make it look like it, so that they could discredit the original interpretation to that Bible, which is the astrology version. And that was a new thought, a new revelation that I had just now, in the moment. Which is why I love auditing on these public records, or just radio broadcasting into the public air record. Because the more I start speaking, the more the thoughts start entering the brain, the more it comes out, the more it becomes conscious to me. Anyway, I'm at another 20 minutes into the video, and I'm still looking to explain what went on with that tax. There's Strike the cat again. Look at that, showed up again. Just come up alongside the yard here again. I'm gonna get another camera. She's laying down right over here next to the blackberries. Whoops. Next to the blackberry bush. Right here. Here she is right there. Hi, Strike. I'm gonna go around the other side. There she is. Hi. I'm gonna use this zoom feature. This is the first time I'm gonna use the zoom feature here. I got it zoomed all the way in, but she's not, I can't see her on the screen quite clearly. Let me get in the shade and see what happens. See if I can inch toward her a little bit closer. It's probably because the sun is, I'm looking, the sun is at the eye. She just disappeared. She went into the bush or something. I was looking up at the sun and she disappeared. She went somewhere real quick. She moved quick. Maybe she didn't want to be on camera close. Anyway, I was going to go around the back to put the sun to the back so I could get a clear picture on the or recording on the. Anyway, so part 4 coming up.